So you want something that maintained a lower profile that would still grow underneath the canopies of the deciduous trees in the summer. That's the challenge of the fight.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
you're
what
not
trees
getting
you
enough.
have.
You know, I mean, you're not gonna get enough sunlight to do
Right.
anything with it, so you're gonna be.
The
underneath
herbs
the
will do
canopies.
better in, even in a partial shade
Correct.
situation, yeah.
Okay.
So that was
Toughest part of
comment 5.
All right.
Still on 5?
Yeah. Site lighting, need to have site lighting provided.
Yeah, I think we have that worked out. I just didn't get an updated, large-scale photometric.
Matt Weber.
Yeah.
I need this guy.
I don't know, but they love to take our drawing and they sends it back to me on a sheet.
Yeah, that's why, just to provide that for the
Yeah.
final plan.
I think we
can come
were at like
back to,
0.1 foot candles on the property line, so.
your dumpster enclosure details on that.
So this, and this is one of these where I looked for your dumpster enclosures in the code and I didn't see where dumpster enclosures were included. And then I think you and I talked and was like, well, dumpster enclosures are considered an accessory building. I'm like, well, but if I don't have a dumpster enclosure, then I don't have an accessory building. And again, we took the approach of, we're putting them behind the building, we've got landscaping, you'll never see them from the east because of where they are.
Do you have dumpsters?
We do, we have 2
Hey, you
dumpsters.
gotta enclose them.
Okay,
You just have to enclose your dumpsters.
I did not see that, that's what I was saying, I didn't see the requirement for a dumpster enclosure
I can give you
in there, but
I can
if it's in there,
Yeah, I
I'll
can
go back and find it.
comb through and give you the citation of the commission's authority to require dumpster enclosures.
Even though it's enclosed by the block and the building, that, it has to have a separate gate type
It
of,
has to be, yeah, yep,
okay, so could I span the
3
gate?
walls and the gate.
Can I span the gate just between the block and the building? And
So
use the
use
two?
the building as some of your.
Right, that's what I'm asking. So if you look at the drawing here, I mean, we've got it screened back here. So is there any reason I couldn't just connect from the block here to the building? And then literally it's enclosed on 4 sides? Does that,
Yeah, if that's where it's staying, you can
yeah,
provide
that's
a,
I don't know
Provide a-
if he's realizing, you're talking about landscaping being the fourth side.
correct.
No, I think they're gonna want a wall then, from what I'm hearing, behind it.
That's,
You want a wall behind it too then?
that's, I think that's,
I
Is that your-
misunderstood, you were saying using the landscaping as one of your.
that's the backside.
So we have wall, and he was talking about putting the
Gates
gates
there.
here.
Right.
And then we have landscaping on the backside, but if I'm hearing
You
you,
need to have.
you have to have a wall
landscaping.
back there too.
So if we did a shadow box fence here,
It
do
doesn't
we
have
still
to
have
be-
to have the landscaping and the shadow box fence? Is that double redundancy there? I'm just asking.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about. The details aren't
Can you
on
see
the
it,
plan
Mr.
for
Westbrook?
me to look
Yeah.
at, but
I don't think so.
if you're having fence in that area you're pointing to, you don't need to also have landscaping, because you're using the fencing as your.
Okay, that's basically what I'm asking.
I don't think.
But I couldn't use the landscaping in lieu of the fence,
No.
but I can use the fence in lieu of landscaping.
Sure, sounds
Okay.
reasonable.
You know,
Okay? So I would say get rid of those stooges, get rid of those,
Yeah.
cross those off, and I'll just put a fence right back there,
Yeah.
put the fence between the buildings and be done with it.
Go
Yeah,
dump-
just
go
show
dump
that on
those
the
over.
plan and the
What's that?
details.
Yeah.
Take these here and put them over here. Done. Okay?
Those, I won't do well over there,
Okay.
take the money for those who put them away.
Allocated, yeah.
So, we'll come back to my number 7, which is architecture, and then, stormwater management, it's, we have a fountain, it looks like it'll be very nice.
Yeah.
Just provide some details.
Yeah, we're, like I said, we're still working on the size of that detention basin. It's gonna
Yeah.
pretty much consume that entire front yard.
Yeah. Yeah, so just when that time comes, provide those details.
Yep.
So, building architecture, so 117202A210 prohibits metal buildings, permits split face block. So what you've done is essentially added in split face block into this. So the question is, And I don't know what Ms. Schultz has said, but you need to determine if the use of the metal is an accent and the split face block is the main, or if it's vice versa. And does Pam have comments?
I guess I
She
should,
does.
she does, and I actually just have a question in regards to that, because I noticed if I'm looking at this correctly, you guys are only taking this around this side and then that right there. You're not wrapping it on that side. Is the reason for this because of mechanical units sitting up top of here?
No, so the reason for that is, one of the things we heard last time was not liking the kind of industrial pole building look with the pitched roof. So we actually changed this to have a parapet roof on two sides, and then we're shed sloping the roof again to the west side. That was the kind of overgrown wetlands piece. So on the, facing the road and facing the east side, we have a parapet wall, but my roof drains to the west. So that was one of the questions that I had about her review, was wanting a parapet wall on the back, but we're draining the roof that way with a gutter system.
On the
So-
low roof, on the small roof too here?
A small roof too. That was that was one of the things we talked about in trying to, get a parapet wall, and so we put it on the two most prominent sides. But I've got to drain the roof. So to put
I mean, you could still put a parapet there, you just have to have like,
would have to do interior roof drains or something. So what we tried to do was to get, before we had a low height of masonry with all the metal siding, and then we, in this effort, went back and tried to flip-flop that, so getting to a lot more masonry, creating some, as well, creating some pilasters on the front of the office, so that we kind of frame those windows, get a little bit more in and out, give ourselves some shadow lines on that masonry as well. And then trying to just do the metal at the top.
So the only one that's got significant metal is the west elevation, I guess west and north, the east and
Correct.
south, you've used a lot of split face.
Correct.
just, it's
Which, what are you telling me?
not, I know why they're not doing it on the other side. I just feel like it looks somewhat unfinished then.
I think we have split face going up 4 foot or 6 foot on those other sides.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
worried about that back side as
Okay.
much. That's,
You'll never see it.
you're never gonna see it.
Nobody
So
will ever see it.
I'm just trying to think of a different, see if there's a different solution for what's going on with, like, it's basically like an L shape on the, it just looks kind of like unfinished, especially if you're coming one way, you don't see it, and then you're coming the other way and you see it. It looks, it looks half done.
I mean, we could go back on the office piece, to a low pitch gable roof. It just seemed like that was one of the things that.
Well, I think it was because it was green, correct?
Well, that, and I think it was the whole, like, getting away from it looking like a pole building. was
Well, I think
the
you kind of
aspect
essentially
of it,
fixed
so.
some of that by bringing your CMU up further. So I think it
So
was
if we
kind of,
we'd just go back to a more normal roof, and we could collect in a gutter on either side.
You
That
talking
would be-
the whole building or the office part?
You tell us.
Yeah.
at least,
I
I
mean,
guess I'm trying to, my mind's trying to draw it right now.
I mean, the
That's
sh-
gonna look, so what I don't wanna do
Yeah.
is have them run down one path and trade one problem for the other. I know probably, I mean, I think there were a bunch of things, as I'm trying to remember back to that meeting, but one was it was a green roof. Two, I think it was because it was all metal. So I think that did make it look more like
Correct.
a metal building, whereas I'm thinking that if you do run that split face CMU up, and then you have your pitch, it's not gonna give that effect as much, and it's also not gonna be a green roof.
So I think we added this view, which I don't think we had before. We had the aerial, which makes the roof seem far more prominent than it is. I mean, you come into this low, you come up 5 feet, so this is a pretty accurate representation of what you're gonna see from Highland Road coming up. So a relatively low pitch, pre-engineered metal building roof, you would never see unless you're, again, on the neighboring property at the warehouse looking back down through, or over here looking back, you might catch a little bit of it.
What color pre-engineered metal building roof would you use?
Well, we were going away from the green because there was clearly a.
I was gonna say, if we're gonna go back to the green,
No,
that's
we'll
gonna
we'll
be.
probably just, it'll be a galvanized roof, and then that's the siding color.
You said not green.
Yeah, don't go green. I know there's a lot of pushback on that from multiple angles, so,
Yeah, I think talking with Pam, she was like, green as the accents was,
yeah, I'm okay with
Reasonable.
like above the doors
So-
and above there, above the, like, the entryway here. There's just something that's not sitting right with me, like, again, it just looks kind of quasi unfinished where it's only on those two sides. And I don't know if pitching it like that is gonna,
So the question would be, would you rather have it go up 8 foot around the whole building,
but,
have what go up 8 foot?
the mason block?
no, he's talking about the.
Just those like little.
Parapet wall on the
The
back.
parapet wall, it just, cause the parapet wall doesn't bother me, because I mean, buildings have parapets. It's more the fact that it looks
From here.
unfinished, and I know why we can't finish it, but it's more the fact that it looks unfinished. I mean, I guess, here's a question, could you be, on this one, it might be easier to do something where it is open at the bottom, because you could brace it essentially here and here into the wall.
That one's a little smaller.
That one's smaller, easier to do, so that one, I think, could be okay. And then it would still let you do that, and then it would actually give you, it would wrap that side.
Of the office.
This one's the only one that I'm trying to think of, how do we, what kind of roof is that up there? EPDM?
No, it's a.
It's
a
metal roof, I'm
galvanized,
sorry, I just read
yeah.
that. I mean, so then from that view, you're essentially gonna, you're gonna kinda see them anyways, maybe, probably not that much, so, but it's
This
still
is
gonna
way
be there
back
from
in,
the
in,
inside.
out of the visual for public though, we're hashing over something that it doesn't affect hardly anybody, I think.
No,
I think
you're gonna be
This
able
would
to-
be up to Pam
you're
to
gonna be
argue
able
with
to
them about that, I think.
You're gonna be able to see it.
You'll be able to see this more than the argument before about the bin blocks in the back.
Yeah, this will be more, but definitely more visible than that. Did you, okay, sorry, I guess, did you guys look at it where you did just pitch it like this? Or did you just completely abandon it, I think, because of some of the other
I
comments
think
and
we
stuff like
abandoned that because my discussions with, I did have some discussions with Pam, and right, that was one of the things of trying to get kind of away from that. Because if we did that, then what we were looking at was like, we'd do some kind of parapet wall on the front to hide that. It sounded like hiding that slope was an important part of the review.
I don't know what our thought process was on that. That kind of, does that mean that right there, that look kind of doesn't bother me, because you've almost essentially provided two different buildings. Would you run this all right here in the split face CMU then? Because what I'm almost
Well,
visualizing is.
so the office piece sits like in front of it, so you would be.
Oh, that's right, it doesn't go all the way over
So
there.
we kind of set that metal, the slight overlap of the green, but then the metal carried back high on the shop, on the warehouse shop area. So we would probably do a similar thing you know, we'd do this with metal, maybe step up our green.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't even mind the green being up there like that.
I mean, you know, this is
Or you
a,
guys throw it to me, but.
this is a good, I mean, you're good with the
I only agree with you.
build it, I mean, it doesn't matter building it, so.
I feel like that's what I was thinking too. This almost, I would agree. I feel like it leaves you a lot of problems, and also just trying to push water to one, it just never goes well when you're pushing water all toward one direction. One part of that gets clogged and it backs up, at least if you've got, it's shedding two different ways. I feel like that would be, something like that would look okay, and I would be okay with like the green there and green there and green there, and then,
So we probably still have the green here because that's my office block. in
I would be
front.
okay with that. And again, I think if you just wrap it, I wouldn't do green there though.
Okay.
I wouldn't
Stop it.
carry that across. I would stop it there, and what I would do
So you
is.
wouldn't carry it like this?
No, I would. He was carrying it all the way
Not
across.
this green right there.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I
see
would
what you're
say, and I would do what we talked about right here. So this part is flat, and it carries itself back to there, and then this right here is, it steps a little bit. Maybe find a way to like kind of align the two.
Yeah,
I'm really doing a bad job of sketching this, but.
So you're okay with the pitched roof?
I'm okay with the pitched roof. I feel like it's I really don't think it would have even, I guess, I'm happy to, Pam and I coordinate on things. I'm happy to, if you guys wanted to do like a quick study of looking at this two ways, because again, I don't even, part of me wonders, like, I don't want to have you do this parapet right here to hide that roof, because it might look okay to see that roof doing that at the end of the day. And then to build this parapet to hide the pitch, it's extra money that, it may not be worth what I'm thinking, but I think, you know, just keep that flat, dye it back in there.
I agree.
And if you could do a quick study of just seeing what it looks like pitched,
We can do that.
and then like, we see that, it might just be done. I mean, as opposed to again stopping it. Part of me's kind of wondering if that step's gonna almost,
Look dorky?
yeah, it kind of seems like it's gonna be like off
We
the
did
fight
look
against
at-
the rest of the
We
building.
did look at that, and then we ended up putting one on the office.
It doesn't
because
have to be perfect, so I mean, if you guys just did some like quick sketches, send them to Pam,
Okay,
I'm happy to have a quick conversation with her about it, and like, it can be, I would say let's start with the pitch, the low pitch both ways, and then keep the other part in the front
Okay.
flat, and I think if that carries around the side, I think it helps. My biggest problem when I was looking at those views was that it just looked unfinished as it wrapped, and I get why, but it's just kind of one of those things where it didn't seem, it didn't seem to flow, it just seemed like all of a sudden somebody just like forgot to put the back part of that parapet on.
I'll introduce him.
Okay.
All right. I think we probably gotta move on a little bit here for this
Come
stuff.
on, this is,
Thank you,
I'm
Chairman.
kidding.
So,
You have comments, Joe, that we
Sleeping-
we've already-
Sleeping in the background.
Yeah, I'm cold and hungry, so I'll be quick here. At the start of this agenda item, you mentioned the wetlands and the stormwater management report, and they kind of go together. So it sounds like you're working on it. When you have it all put together, please submit it, and we'll review everything naturally.
Okay.
Previous drawing showed the parking or the rear lot to be gravel. That's not allowed. You now show asphalt, so thank you, so that's the correct thing to do. The drawing is not clear as to whether or not the parking area and driveway is curved, but it does need to be curved, so
Yeah,
please show that on future submittals. And just quite simply, water is through Cleveland Water, so your permitting and inspection will go through them, and sanitary is Summit County Sewer Department. So your permitting and inspection will go through Summit County. Keep with it.
Really nothing other than there was, just an error in the square footage from page 1 to page 2, just to clarify.
I'll check that.
65 feet, square feet difference.
Okay.
And then the other, it looks like demising walls, so it's broken, the storage area is gonna be broken up into different units.
there's the potential for that, although it potentially could, you know, it could be leased out where somebody takes two and they don't build that separating wall.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is 5,000 square feet or more if you're storing vehicles inside. You know, put you in that sprinkler.
Yeah.
There you go. Those are the questions.
No vehicles inside.
You know?
If I had anything, I'll wait until next
You
month.
would, you would wait and see. All right, Commission, you guys got,
I'm good.
One more nitpicky comment about the landscaping. I wouldn't do hosta on the south side of the building. Those are partial to full shade plants. Do your daylilies there. Maybe catmint is another really easy to grow but very pretty perennial. Otherwise, I think landscape's good. So.
So I think between what you guys are, you know, the architecture you guys are talking about and some of the other things and the landscaping and various things, we probably need to see this one more time. Hopefully we could wrap it up and get it done for you next month or whenever you can make it back. So do you think realistic next month or?
It'll be the next one, it has to be.
I think so.
All right.
Because I have deadline to submit is next Friday, so we'll make some quick revisions, send
If-
email to Pam.
If Mr. Monaco has no problem, Pam and I have a conversation with these guys, do you have an issue? We've done it before, so if we can all three just jump on a call and we'll hammer it out, and then that way there's no back and forth. I'll give Pam a heads up and let her know kind of what we talked about, so she's not caught off guard when we have our conversation. But I think, again, let's start with the flat roof in the front, pitch it, and let's see how that looks, and I think it'll be, my initial thought is it'll be okay.
Okay.
So,
You like that better than the monoslope?
I do.
Okay.
Because I think it looks, it's not gonna look like the other side of that building's not complete, and also it's gonna help you from shedding your water.
Well, that's what I originally liked, but from
Two
the
ways.
meetings, the last meetings, I thought that, other than, because I asked specifically, is it the green roof or is it the gable?
It was a green roof in my.
And they said
opinion.
green, but then when Pam had more conversations, it was more, so I love this idea much better, the first one.
I
Okay,
think it'll be okay.
okay. Awesome, thanks.
All right, I'll make a motion to continue this to the next meeting to address the final comments. I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thanks, guys. Sorry for the long night.
Thanks for keeping us.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that one too.
All in favor?
Aye.